Shalawam Lakal. Welcome to another exciting production of edification. I am your host, Brother Reginald Ben Israel. In this episode, the focus is on biblical close encounters and the dispelling of a myth. The overall objective, is to increase consciousness and provide awareness training. When you are aware and knowledgeable about certain subject matters, you tend to be less fearful and apprehensive of them. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. You having knowledge that our power travels by rocket ship or jet-like aircraft will not hinder your devotion, but will strengthen your belief in Him as well as calm your fears of so-called aliens. When you think of where do these people get their technology from, and you become enlightened about what it is you are truly reading about in your own historical records, you discover, oh, that's where they found out how to design that. Besides the findings that they dig up all over the world and back engineer. Let's talk Ezekiel chapter 1 and part of chapter 2 for a moment. Ezekiel is having visions of the Most High. Generally, the first thing to come to mind, thanks to Christianity, is okay, he's having a daydream or in some type of a deep spiritual trance. But no, he's actually having what in today's terminology is called sightings and close encounters with the Most High. Not on just one occasion, but on multiple occasions. However, on this one particular occasion in verse 1, he records in detail what I believe to be his first sighting or encounter with the Most High. And again, I stress, be assured, he's not daydreaming or in a trance. He is recording exactly what he sees and hears, literally, to the best of his abilities, which are pretty amazing in my estimation. Verse 3 is clearly stating that the word of the Most High, or the spokesman of the Most High, came to him personally. Remember St. John 1:1? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High, and the Word was the Most High? Yeah, the same one came specifically to Ezekiel, and not to the others mentioned in verse 1, though they were witnesses, I believe, to the same event. In verse 4, Ezekiel looked, and he saw the likeness of a tornado come out of the north. A great cloud, he says. This cloud could be referring to the starship itself or the effects it's having on the air as it moves at high rates of speed through the atmosphere, creating a tornado-like vapor trail, and or both. It's moving so fast that it's generating a lot of heat, and it seems to be on fire, and static electricity builds up on the exterior hull and gives off a bright orange or yellowish glow. In verse 5, he sees what appears to be 4 living creatures with the body features of a man, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a torso. He says they are alive because he hears them breathing, inhaling oxygen and exhaling exhaust smoke and fire. If it ain't breathing, it ain't alive. Verse 6 says, each of the 4 creatures has 4 faces and 4 wings. Now, let us pause here for a moment. I'll break this down according to my knowledge of aircraft and lean on my 10-year experience as an aircraft maintenance specialist in the United States Air Force and show with images the things I believe Ezekiel is describing. You can read the rest of Ezekiel's encounter for yourself in chapter 1 later. Ezekiel sees a flying ship and describes it as a whirlwind and a great cloud. Coming out of the north. It has 4 massive engines, and each engine has what Ezekiel describes as 4 heads attached to the body, which is exactly what they are. They are used for exhaust thrusters. I consider these creatures that Ezekiel is seeing and have the likeness of a man to be the primary landing gear systems, and their heads are the exhaust thruster units of each main engine. There are 4 mains. So there are 16 thrusters firing simultaneously at any one time. And each one of these landing gear assemblies is supporting the weight of one each rocket engine and its housing. 4 main engines, 4 landing gear assemblies. Each engine structure has 4 swivel exhaust thruster heads, and each of these exhaust thruster heads has a face. One is the face of a man and the face of a lion, or 2 on the right side, and the head and the one on the other on the left side has the face of an ox and an eagle. I've shown this picture of a water fountain and the 3 exhaust nozzles on that so-called Mars lander. Just to give you an idea, kind of like get a picture in your head of what's going on there. And also there should be a picture of the 4 exhaust nozzles with the swivel end coming up. I know they are exhaust heads because Ezekiel describes how they react when running and when cooled in verse 13. When hot, they turn red and glow like a rocket nozzle. There's a glow of a rocket nozzle, and you can see an image of fire of the lightning coming out of flames. Further, he describes the flames of fire that spews out with lightning-like appearance coming out of the flames. And there's a picture of it. He also states that each landing gear assembly has 4 wings. 2 are connected, 2 inboard wings are connected to one another, and the 2 outboard wings are independent. And he also describes the hands of a man on each, which look like knuckles but are actually hinges, like hinges on your door. They look like knuckles. They are shaped in the shape of a closed fist. When they fly, they don't flap wings nor turn their bodies, but stay together in unison, and they are straight and stiff and rigid. They lift their wings when not flying and straighten them before flight. I had a picture of the USS Ronald Reagan showing some of their aircraft in the maintenance deck with the wings up, but that's not actually what it's referring to. It's actually referring to the landing gear assembly that you see in this photograph. And when this landing gear is retracted into the wheel well, those 2 doors, which Ezekiel calls wings, they look like wings, it's what they are, they're actually wings, close behind them, so they actually cover the landing gear. That's what it means to be, that those 2 wings to cover themselves. They each have straight calf feet like calf, and a single wheel, which gives the appearance of a wheel in the middle of a wheel when they are rolling. And we have all seen this before. Spokes look like they are turning counterclockwise while the tire is rotating clockwise. Ezekiel thinks the power is in the wheels because he sees them running when the exhaust ports are all facing down and making it seem as though the wheels are producing the thrust. I have a short clip of that. And he's even describing the sound they make when running in verse 24. He went on to describe the firmament over the landing gear, or the housing unit, or the containment section, or simply the body of the aircraft, which is called the fuselage. and it houses either passengers or bombs or simply whatever payload. And upon it was a glass-like structure, the windscreen, which he calls a type of the terrible crystal because you can see clear through it like a crystal ball in verse 22. He sees a beautiful throne seat of sapphire stone-like covering. Inside of it, he sees the Most High Yahweh, who has the appearance of a man, and he is seated upon the throne in verse 28. My power is a fighter power and a man of war. I would bet it was him who was personally shooting down those enemy fighters, fallen angels in those tales of the Indian Hindu gods and wars, and destroying the cities of those Nephilim. Ezekiel sees the Most High's glory flashing lights in color of a rainbow, and he fell flat on his face. Let's keep it real, Ezekiel fainted. Because in chapter 2, the Most High commanded him to stand up on his feet, and that's when he received the Spirit, his breath, and strength again to get up and stand. I know it's Yahweh Elohim because he tells Ezekiel in chapter 2 verse 4, thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh Elohim. And again in Ezekiel 1 and 28, he saw the likeness of the glory of the Most High and fainted. I'll conclude my segment right here to keep the video time down. I hope you have received some enlightenment that will help you further comprehend our power and how he operates on a regular basis. Please stay tuned for the conclusion of the production Chariots of Fire, the biblical close encounters. Shalawam Lakal, Abarym, Uwa, Kwam, Yasharala, Yakai, Kaya.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home.